So this is going to be a quick 1-month report of the ownership of the Aprilia Tuono. I'm stopped here along the Mesa Grande Road in San Diego, California. Pretty curvy little road, so taking it easy, and just parked at a curve where I could get this marvelous view. I don't want to stay here too long. It's about 91 degrees, so in my gear I'm doing a little burn up, but I hope that sometimes the camera doesn't do long shots well, but I hope that does it justice. It's really beautiful out there through that valley. And somewhere out there is San Diego, where I'm going to head in a few minutes. Anyway, 1 month report. No buyer's remorse. Still loving it. Still riding it. Not quite got the break-in miles. I know a lot of guys that would say, why didn't you get the break-in miles the first weekend you had it? And they do have a point, because the darn thing is so much fun to ride. But the reality is, of course, everything that you'd like to do has to mesh up with everything that you have to do, and you just don't necessarily get the time. Likes just about anything and everything. Love the quick shifter, love the blipper, love the road holding, love the sound, love the control surfaces, love the rider interface with the all-digital dash, and love the general setup of the machine. The ergonomics are a little challenging. I think they stayed a little closer to the sport bike ethos than perhaps what a regular naked might be. And what I mean by that is that the pegs are a little high, a little close, and the handlebars are a little forward, a little bit of a reach. But having said that, that's what makes the riding experience as exciting as it is. You really are over that front bar, which is where you want to be. Dislikes, I still do believe it's geared a little high. You could probably go a little lower gear on this, but you would want to be pretty careful. It'll jerk your arms out of the sockets already. So going too low of a gear might get you something that you really don't want. But I think it's geared a little high, which means just tooling around in most neighborhoods, you're going to be doing one gear or second gear, and the throttle can be a little snatchy, a little grabby at those low speeds. So even though I was praising the overall fueling earlier, I do have to point out that when you're trying to just roll steady in first or second gear, that little slight throttle inflections can translate into a bit of a jerky ride. So still think it's geared a little high. Still, perhaps then coming back to that fueling issue, the fueling could be a little more finely calibrated for low speeds when you have to trundle along. The other thing, and this is going to sound funny, is these pegs, these foot pegs, I think are a little longer than they have to be. Now, I just came from a MV Agusta, and the pegs and every little part of that was tiny because that thing was all about keeping weight as low as possible. So, have to keep that in mind. But having said that, I just measured the pegs to my S1000R. They were right around 3 inches, and these are a little over 3.5 inches long from this point to this point. So when you put your foot down, I'm used to keeping it perhaps a little closer there than I should, and could be an issue with catching a peg. So I'm going to have to watch that. A little something I wouldn't ordinarily need to worry about. The other issue is that heat, again, and I'm at 90 degrees here, sweating as I talk to you. That is a hot running machine. It is 200 degrees or plus all the time, and at a stop in a desert environment, that temp will build up. I have not had a single issue with catching any kind of a temperature shutdown or a boil over or anything like that, but you have to admit that it's never far from your mind. Last little comment that I would have in that regard is that I have grabbed a couple of false not false. I have parked it a couple of times in neutral instead of grabbing second gear when using the auto shifter up. A couple of times is no big deal, so that's either my ineptitude at making sure I am engaging that gear, or perhaps the bike is a little sensitive to making sure that you really hook it up into that second gear passing through neutral. But has happened a couple of times out of months worth of riding, just under 600 miles now, so I can't say that that is a consistent fault, and it's probably rider error. Okay, that is it. I have hooked up the V4 app program, and I will do a report on that as my next little video. Hope you enjoyed this. I am enjoying my time with the 2017 Aprilia Tuono 1100 Factory.